Nigeria's power sector is still the discuss for every day. Of course, we're looking forward to the better days where we'll have full electricity that, just like our neighbor Ghana and other countries that are enjoying good electricity. It's a concern because businesses are, however, affected. Of course, we're looking forward to a day that all of this will be an issue of the past. I mean, many years of still struggling with electricity and power. And what is the situation? How can we actually come out of all of this? We'll be another focus of the discussion. Welcome to another edition of course, the Fresh for the Week of Big Talk here on Global Television, where we'll be taking a lot of big conversations on the program. My name is Adika Michael. Today, we'll be focusing on the Nigeria's power sector, the issues of electricity tariff, and what governments are doing, what should be done, what are the private sectors, and of course, all those involved and the parties involved doing to get Nigeria out of the current darkness that we are finding in this country. My guest tonight is the engineer Edibo Josiah, who of course is the immediate past chairman of the Nigeria Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers. He's joining us here live from the studio for the purpose of this program. And of course, we'll be joined virtually on this program by Dr. Wisdom Enan. Of course, he's a senior energy consultant and analyst. He's connecting from Akwa Ibom State for the purpose of this conversation. Good to have you, gentlemen. Welcome to the show, the immediate past chairman.
Good evening.
Good to have you. Good to have you.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
Yes.
Like you rightly said, my name is Engineer Ahoy Edibo Josiah, the immediate past chairman of Nigeria Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, Abuja chapter. Like you rightly asked, and everybody knows that the issue of power in Nigeria is a known problem. I need to actually start by saying that we have various sectors or people that are responsible for the problem of the power sector. And first of all, I would like to inform you that in this power sector, we have three segments of the power. That is the generation aspect of the sector, the transmission sector, and the distribution sector. The problem of power in Nigeria cuts across these three sectors. First of all, I will start with the issue of the generation. One of the things that we are having in the generation aspect of it is that presently we have low generation, in the sense that the low demand of the country is quite increasing, but we have not gotten the commensurate increase in the generation. Apart from the fact that we don't have enough generation, we can also look at the fact that most of those generation property, the plants, they are already aging, and they are not producing optimally. Even the installed capacity that we so have, we cannot even get up to the installed capacity in terms of the production, and that's a big problem. Leaving that aspect, we go to transmission. Even if we have enough generation, presently I think the country is having about 3,000 to 4,000 or 5,000 generation capacity. I mean, generation as the case may be. It does not, it fluctuates actually. It's not static. Sometimes it goes up to 5,000, it comes down to 3,000, even sometimes even 2 point something megawatts. And it's grossly inadequate. And even if the generation has gone up to quite reasonable quantum of megawatts, you know, the transmission aspect is actually the vehicle that will wield that energy that is produced, or the generation capacity that we have been produced, the transmission lines, and the one that will transmit them where it will be distributed by the discos to the customers. And you will discover that even the transmission facilities, they are aging. The transmission lines, they are aging. Even though the capacity in terms of transformers, government is trying, they are expanding it. But I think about now, the transmission should be able to wheel about 8,000 megawatts. And even at that, presently what we are having take the allocation that is given to us to give out, when you discover that you have the energy at the transmission end, to take it to the distribution end, we may not be able to exhaust the allocation that has been given to us. What is the reason? The reason is that because of the aging condition of the plants, you cannot even take those energy that they say is made available for you at the transmission, because by the time you start taking the energy, they will be complaining of low frequency, because the frequency will be going down, and if something is not done, the whole system will collapse. So it's a big problem. So, and for us to avoid this, government should continue, like I just said, because it is government that is actually responsible for this transmission. But even now, though we are hearing that, or they have said that the NEC has unbundled the transmission endpoint to ISP and TSP, that means that government actually is going in the right direction, because breaking this transmission into different bits, that the different companies can now come in and invest. And that will also bring services, improve the services, and then bring in innovation into the system. And that will also help the system to be stabilized. And you will also look at the fact that coming to the distribution end, they have dilapidated infrastructure. Most of the discos...
Are we coming to that now? Coming to that. I mean, let me get Dr. Wisdom and joining us via Zoom too. Of course, welcome to the program, Doctor. You can hear me. Okay, you can hear me. Welcome to the program.
I appreciate.
All right. Give us your assessment on the current situation of electricity. You understand what governments are doing, policies there and there, but we are still finding it very hard. Nigerians are still struggling, and businesses are still struggling. International, foreign investors are backing out of the country because of this situation and the rest. What is your take on all of this?
I think in a nutshell, right, there are a number of problems, and I'm going to break down the problems just like my co-speaker has said. We have the structural problem, and that structural problem has to do with the fact that we're under the capacity for production, and even when we produce, we're under the capacity for distribution, for transmission and distribution, and so there are a lot of losses around the value chain. And that is because we're primarily operating a centralized power structure, which means that we have generation going on at a few power plants, and they have to circulate it to parts of the country that needs it. That, in a nutshell, is the first problem that we have. And what is the government doing to tackle this? Although we're coming late to the party, to be honest, the government is trying to put out through the Electricity Act, of course, which has been revised for the 2023. The government is trying to now empower the states to say, look, you can go ahead and generate your power. You can go ahead and sell your power. And that way, we decentralize the idea of making it at a central power station and sending it off to people. But again, as I said, we're coming late to the party. The other problem that we're having is there's a complete breakdown of trust between the discos on the receiving end and the between the discos on the receiving end and the consumers. Now, I'm going to tell you in a nutshell, and that distrust has been building up for a while. Let's look at the idea of estimated bill. A lot of people say, well, I have estimated bill. I don't even know what I made. I remember when I was a youth corper, I was made to pay 20,000 per month. Meanwhile, the guy that had 3-bedroom flats, he had ACs in every flat. His bill at the time was coming less than about 15,000 a month. So you're asking yourself, this distrust has happened. What has been the knock-on effect of this distrust? People have gone into energy theft. They've gone into meter bypass, and they're not going to pay for their energy. So essentially, if they're not paying for their energy, how do we even have the money going to the discos to be able to make up the amount needed to actually develop even the distribution value chain before we then talk about developing the transmission to give distribution a lot more energy, and before we talk about the generation. So it's been a very strong structural problem. Now, even when you talk about people that are willing to pay bills, now look at what happened at Decan. They put out the Ban A thing, but you're aware that the Buja Energy Distribution Company was sanctioned because they just increased everybody's tariff arbitrarily, and that's even that one came up because a lot of the customers voiced out the concern that they were having that they when they recharge, their token was actually their token was giving them the value as if they were on Ban A. Now you then go on to the what is happening at the moment in Lekki, for example. Do you know that there's an arbitrary increase or upgrade of people to Ban A? Even when I have a friend, I've been in that house for 2 days, he's getting less than 6 hours of energy a day. Who is checking all these things? So the distrust is even getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And my friend is talking about, look, all of us have decided to do a bypass. So at the end of the day, now you're talking about increasing the tariff. The problem is, you've increased the tariff. What is the basis for the review? Does NERC have the necessary manpower to chase and create an oversight function to checkmate these discos and make sure they're doing the right thing? Do they have that mandate? How are they reviewing who goes on Ban A? In reality, I know on paper they said each month there's a review, but who is checking this? Because there are a lot of abuses going on, in between. I know a lot of companies are now choosing how they will steward their compliance, and they're reporting their compliance. What if they're making people to be on Ban A when they're not supposed to, and they're reporting otherwise? So there's a lot of distrust along the value chain that is going on in the electricity value chain. Because for me, when I talk about this, I'm talking about, do we have a bankable investment? Is someone willing to pay for their energy? And when you have distrust in the value chain, obviously customers are going to find clever ways. I can tell you on my street, we did the NEPA guy came around. Well, we call them NEPA, but the disco guy came around and had a look, and they found out that 65% of the residences were doing bypass. How do they know this? Because they know you recharge, the average house will recharge say 50,000 each month, but they've come to see that you recharge 50,000 right from January, you're using that same 50,000 till today. I mean, how possible is that? And that's what everybody's doing. So the question is, I mean, how do we holistically address both the structural challenge from the infrastructure side of things, from from the delivery of energy side of things, and from the fact that we need to create an incentive for people to pay? Right now, there has been a very serious inherited, kind of bias on the side of customers right from the days of NEPA. I don't know how we will break that jinx. The only sector that got to break that jinx, I remember when people were owing a lot of NITEL bill. In fact, people stopped paying NITEL because they weren't sure why they were coming up with such bills, and some of their telephone lines wasn't giving them. It was when we now went to the GSM mobile that people started, okay, pay as you go. But right now, I'm not sure how we're going to break this jinx, because a lot of people feel disenfranchised with the tariff system and they're ready to do a bypass. Ultimately, the Nigerian economy and the power sector would lose ultimately.
The reactions upon the issue of Ban A, Ban B, because the federal government told Ban A that you get 20 hours of power, and the Ban B 15 hours or thereabout. But look at and listen to their reactions on the state of electricity regarding the issues of the federal government are even giving the Ban A, customers the estimated hours of electricity that they promise.
I mean, to be honest, the thing is, if you look at what the law said, the rule that was brought out says, it said promised hours. So the thing is, let me tell you a little trick. I can say I promise to give people 20 hours of light by this month, and I'll go on to charge them the tariff as though I've given them 20 hours. Tomorrow I say I promise to give them. Now there's nothing that talks about how are you going to refund these people that you promised and did not meet the promise. What it says is that if you have not met that promise, you should downgrade them to the next tariff, to the tariff that you're sure you'll give them, you downgrade them from that tariff. But look, people are on band A on 1 month, and they're giving less than 6 hours of light. Who is to blame? So even if the disco said I'm going to provide more than 20 hours of light, so hence I'm putting them on band A, and assuming the disco is ready to supply that light, but then the transmission doesn't bring that light, and obviously generation and transmission is not bringing them that light. Who is to pay for this? So the accountability is not clear.
All right,
This is
doctor.
one of the
All right,
biggest
doctor.
problems.
I want to take reactions of Nigerians on the issues of ban A and M. I mean, if they really are enjoying the 20 hours and the 16 hours and all of these banding. And when I'm back, the immediate past chairman here will also give us his analysis on the status. Do we really have to do these issues of banding? I mean, would this really solve the problem? And what Nigerians are facing? Because at the end of the day, we'll speak all of this grammar. What the common Nigerian want to see is the fact that he's having electricity at the hours he can pay for. And these are the issues that Nigerians are facing. Take a listen to their reaction.
The electricity, I live in Life Camp, and we are under band A, and we have not been experiencing the 20 hours provision that we are supposed to have. So it has been epileptic, and really we can't do much. Yes, we definitely want government to do something about that, to improve the electricity supply, and we will really appreciate that. Yes.
In the city here in Abuja, we usually don't have. Sometimes we manage to get light maybe 6 hours a day. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't stay. It just come, it goes. And when I was growing up as a baby, and there will be light. So when light goes off and light comes in, we shout, they've brought light, hey NEPA. Now I'm getting old, I'm coming of age. I don't expect that to still be happening now, especially when you are in Abuja. That was in Delta State, let me say Warri to be precise. We jubilate when light come on, and when it's out but this is the city. There should be light, at least to start from here. Then it extends into other places. And I believe the revolution can happen everywhere. So things need to be put in place. The resources are there. It's just for it to be properly managed. Allocate more to the power sector, ensure proper management, because I believe sometimes you may not blame government. The resources have been allocated, but it has not been properly managed. That is why the consistent power outage. So let there be the proper management of the resources that has been allocated for generating electricity, distribution of the electricity, and I believe things will be better.
That's the reactions of residents here at the Federal Capital Territory on the issues of electricity tariff, and of course the fact that the issues of banding has not even given rise to the hours of electricity. Back to you, engineer. They increase the tariff. I mean, even when TUC and NLC have called them to reverse that, they even went ahead to put Nigerians into grouping banding A. I don't know the band that your area is actually falling into. Do you feel that this was the issue? I mean, and would this address the issue of power sector that we have?
Like I told you earlier, one of the problems of the power sector actually is also the issue of financial viability. You know that there is no cost-effective tariff in the power sector because of the subsidy in the electricity, owing for the fact that for the investors, what will attract the investor to come into investing into the electricity industry is that they have seen the viability that if they come in, whatever they are going to invest into the system, they will be able to get it out.
Yeah, return of investment.
That's investment. You are quite agree with me. But the truth of the matter is that increasing into banding to get electricity cost tariff issue is a good thing. But it has to come to when the time is right. Presently, like I told you earlier, that we have dilapidated infrastructure in the energy line from the generation to the distribution sector. and you discover that even if they promise that they are going to give band A, maybe the distribution say they are going to give you band A, but you discover that maybe in the course of operation, maybe there is a breakdown, either in the distribution line or the transmission line, and it takes some hour before that will be rectified. You will not be able to meet up that. And another challenge we will have in this banding system, if you compare it to other issue of maybe using your personal generator to buying fuel and fire your own generator, the cost of that even band A is even cheaper than using that. But the challenge is that when since we don't have enough generation, the company, since they are interested in making profit gain, they would like to move all the energy to band A customers, and there will be nothing left for other band people to use, which is a challenge. I think we have enough energy on ground. Okay, you say those that can afford it, let's give them this band, and those that cannot afford it, we'll place them according to their banding. That will be fine. But as it is, since we don't have enough, if we say we are operating banding system, band A, then we move everybody to band A, and then what is left for other people to use? It means it's only the rich that will access electricity. That is the challenge.
And that's increasing.
There is nothing wrong with, say, let us group people according to the category. But in other way, also, how
can they strike a balance?
How can you? The issue there is that looking at even the citizen, we have our own problems. Even the one that is not even on band A or band or whatever, they will not even like to pay. They pay for the energy. They want it free.
Theft.
And they are, because of that, they are stealing it. They will bypass the meter. They will. Some people will even take this energy without even having to document what they are using. That is the problem. You will not be able to even build the one that you are even having. So before the thing gets, another thing is the issue of the losses along the line. Before it gets to the customer, because of the situation of the infrastructure, those things have lost. And this company, for it to be able to thrive, we must find a way of surviving.
All right.
That is the truth of the matter.
All right. Dr. Wisdom, if you are still with me, I understand the fact that, Discos and those that are distributing has to actually get some profit in the line of their businesses. But another concern has been the fact that at the time right now, where we've had fuel subsidy removal and many issues that Nigerians are actually facing, do you feel that the timing for the electricity tariff increase is right now? Because TUC have kicked against this, NLC have kicked against it, and several other Nigerians. What is your assessment? Do you feel that the issues of taxation, the high taxation in the issue of electricity tariff is right at the moment?
Let me say something that I think I would like to say the psychological interpretation is quite different if you say hike in rates. What we should say is the removal of the subsidy for that band is what is happening, right? So in a nutshell, when you put subsidy on consumption, it's not supposed to be permanent. So we expect that at some point you can't create something out of nothing. Essentially, we would have come to that discussion. Whether the time is right, we also have to balance the welfare of the people and the fact whether government still has funds to afford the subsidy at all, and whether the government is looking at the full picture, how much investors are waiting to come in. Now, Erika, you hear Nigeria talk about japa. The problem is not when you go out, you japa, you end up paying energy fee. I'll tell you, when I was in the UK in 2011, 2012, 2013, when I lived there permanently, my energy bills was coming to about £500 a month. And I paid. And my house was no bigger. I think I had just industrial heaters because I was using the industrial heater to heat everything in the room, in the house, both the heater, the water, cooking, and so on. But the point I'm trying to say is, I pay. Why do I pay without grumbling? Because I see the transparency, because I understand what I'm paying for. The problem is not that Nigerians cannot adapt. Look, my neighbor has an inverter system. He charges it up. So even when there's light, he can turn off the light and use his inverter. But the point is, so what am I trying to say? Nigerians are already putting the right attitude towards energy transition. But in a nutshell, the problem is that Nigerians are asking you, like, okay, look, what are we even paying for? Let me give you the you have to look at the psychological factor of the average Nigerian. They know. So, for example, if you see an average Nigerian have a debit from their bank, as small as 50 naira, you see people say, I've seen 50 naira charge on my account, even when they have millions. What is this for? Because they just want to relate to what they're paying for, and that's them asking for accountability of value in what they're paying for. So, in a nutshell, nobody is against you taking out subsidy, but it's not that do we even know what we're paying for? How like I said, if for 2 months you put me on band A, and for no fault of the disco, but fault of the transmission and generation and transmission, I don't even get up to 10 hours of light. Who is going to reimburse me? Assuming I have maybe, I'll give you in a nutshell. Assuming I have 500,000 today, I'm like, okay, let me get this money and buy tariff and my tariff units for the next maybe 3 or 4 months, and I buy it in that month where you are charging me as band A, and you now downgrade me to band C, and that means I've already bought the unit. Who's going to refund that? Because I used to buy some units to cover like 4 or 5 months. Right now, I don't know when they will upgrade me to band A. So now that I'm in band C, I think I bought units for the whole year. So someone that is on band A that is doing that sort of strategic buying, who is going to refund the money? So the distrust is actually the case, not the fact that look in telecommunication, we buy our units, we know how much the tariff is for each network, and we pay. When the network is finished, you don't complain that they're charging you too much. You reload your tariff, your credit, and pay and continue. So we're ready to pay, but it's just that have we even seen what we're paying for? That's the problem. And is there check and balances in the services that we're getting?
Great submissions, right there, Doctor. I mean, all of these are issues. But let's take a look at the way forward. I mean, neighbor like Ghana. I mean, the last time our Nigerians were on the African Cup of Nations, people of Ghana were actually going against Nigeria that you do not even have, you cannot even boast of electricity to even watch a match. How can we get out of all of this, and how do we see how governments can address this issue? For many years, it has been an issue. Do you feel that we can actually go out of this, but it will always be an issue that we are facing, I mean, for the lifetime?
I think we can get out of it, right? Okay.
Yeah, Doctor, let me take engineer here in the studio. I'll get to you.
The issue of providing power is simple. It's just, number one thing is that government should have the willpower to take drastic situation or drastic steps to follow up the implementation of the policy of Power Reform Act. Now, other nations, they don't normally depend on the national grid wholly. They have is a PPP something, private partnership. Yeah. They have other sources of energy. Like mostly we are looking at renewable. In this renewable, like every state can be given, government will put a policy in place. Okay, let every state generate a minimum of so megawatts of electricity. If it is something that is mandatory for every state, it is something that is doable. By the time every state has some level of energy that is generated at state level, the one at the national level will now be augmenting what is needed that the one in the state cannot meet up with. So with that, you'll be able to have enough energy that will be used at different levels. Maybe some industries can come up and say, okay, I have my industry, I want to generate for my own cluster, for my own use. By the time that one does its own, then another sector does its own. We have more energy. When you cumulatively add them together, it becomes a huge quantum of energy in the country. And that will relieve the pressure on the national grid. That's what I think the way we should go. Let's go into renewable energy, even though I know that initial cost of this renewable energy is high, but the maintenance is very low. So it is advisable that we also diversify into these other sources of energy, not relying on only conventional energy system. That's my own suggestion.
All right, back to you, Doctor. Tell us, what are other countries that are enjoying electricity doing differently that Nigeria can actually queue behind to getting some of these done? I mean, we understand that we just have to get it right. I mean, the issues of electricity. a breach of network connections right there. I mean, to get the doctor's view as we begin to round up on the discussion of these issues. I mean, as we are getting to round up on the program, engineer, do you feel that government are doing their best? I mean, the minister, I understand you don't want to go into issues of analyzing politics. Do you feel that the minister is in the right direction to addressing some of these issues that we are facing? Or what would you advise differently to do?
Well, what I want to say in this aspect is that truly the president is doing enough. And if you look at what he's doing, actually, you know, the problem we'll be having is putting the wrong people in wrong
yes.
putting square pegs in the round holes. And what the president is doing now is that he's looking into such things and putting the right people in right positions. And if you bring in technocrats, those that are knowledgeable in these sectors, there's no doubt they will travel, we will succeed. And that is what I think the government is, even though that there are a lot of problems on ground and this thing cannot be solved in a day. So I believe the government is going in the right direction. And if the government continues in the way we are going, it's just that it will take some time. They will be out of
all of this.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Doctor, I mean, I was about getting your view on the fact, tell us what other countries are doing differently that Nigeria must queue behind to getting sure that we have electricity, because it is needful for our economy to even thrive. You understand all of the issues that this power is causing Nigerians. What do you think differently should Nigeria do? I mean, also with what other countries are doing there? A bit to get Dr. Wisdom to join the conversations as we, of course, are about wrapping up on the conversations. The fact that the federal government have insisted that they are not going back on the issues of electricity tariff, and several reactions are true. If this must be the way forward, just as Doctor and my guest has rightly said, give Nigerians electricity and see if they won't pay. And that is what several persons are also arguing. For the fact that we just want a situation where we have a light and not a black country, that is where actually Nigerians have been facing for several years. And of course, as we beat I want to appreciate my guests for his thoughts and conversations and contributions to the very discussed today we've had. Thank you so much, David the past chairman, for joining us on the program. And many thanks, Dr. Wisdom, for connecting with us from the capital of Akwa Ibom State for the purpose of this conversation tonight. And that's the package, for this part of the conversation. We'll go on a short break, and once we return, we'll be taking a lot of discourse on assessing the current state of policies President Tinubu is doing so far in his administration. Do still stay with us on the Big Talk. I'll be right back. Many time for us still stay with us on Big Talk here on Global Television. My name remains Deacon Michael. And of course, we're taking a look at the fact that the hardship and economic hardship is biting so hard on Nigerians, and several attempts to get what government are doing to answer some of these questions are necessary. What are the policies on ground? What are the recent policies to relieve Nigerians of this current hardship? And of course, I'll be joined tonight by a public policy analyst, Von Jacot, who joins us via Zoom to actually express some of these policies and what governments are doing differently to getting Nigerians out of the current hardship that's very persistent in the country. Good to have you join us on the program, Jacot.
Mr. Deacon, I have to join you. Thank you very much for having me here.
All right. Give us an assessment. We understand the current hardship is
Can you hear
much
me?
on Nigerians. Yes, I can hear you. We understand that the current hardship is much on Nigerians, and several times Nigerians are blaming on what government are doing to get Nigerians out of this. Give us an assessment of the current policies you may feel that President Tinubu is doing differently to address the many issues that we are facing.
Well, already I am a Nigerian, and also you're a Nigerian. I believe it's not something that is hidden. We have cases of policy somersault. We've seen a government who came with the campaign promises, well documented. We were inspired by it, and since they were the ruling party as at then, we didn't have a choice. We know the normal system will call in election result. Now they are now in power. 11 months after that, what next? So what are we doing in the next 1 year? In the next few days, we will be celebrating 1 year of governance with the APC-led administration led by Tinubu. Actually, the president has not done what is expected. The hardship is much. Yes, you went straight to the fuel subsidy. I think that's the in thing now. Yes, and went straight to the fuel subsidy, and it's collapsed the whole system without having a proper plan. You understand? Without having a proper plan. I don't know if it was politically motivated, why it went in there for, but I think it was totally wrong. It was wrong. You don't move into a policy without having a plan, a cushion for Nigerians. Yeah, if you have any ulterior motive why you took up that policy, yeah, it's a good one to say you're taking out subsidy, but I think it has to be a little more lenient on Nigerians. You understand? And that crumbled the whole system. Now you can see the after effect of that. You can see that in the food inflation. You can see that in manufacturing. Couple of times we've seen the cost of building materials, most especially cement, gone high up. You understand? In the space of just 10 months. You understand? And you cannot control the forces of demand and supply. You understand? At this point in time, because a good businessman, a good entrepreneur, industrialist like Dangote, who is in the country, will tell you that, hey, come on, I can't be investing in this, and at the same time, you don't expect to make profits. You understand? So who suffers? Who suffers the brunt? Definitely, it's going to be the consumers. And where we are right now, Tinubu needs a vibrant economic team. He needs to re-strategize. It's not too late for him, you understand, but he needs to re-strategize. And from what he's doing right now, if he continues this way, we'll still keep seeing high rate of crime. Yes, there's kidnapping everywhere. These are the impact of these policies. You understand? There's inflation, food inflation, there's food insecurity. There's a whole lot of damages this has cost us. You understand? And there's no plan. We've heard in this same administration that, hey, come on, by December, January, refineries will be working. But it's not working. You understand? So it's all about the fuel, the petroleum industry. Now, we also talked about the Petroleum Industrial Act. You understand? The bill which have been passed to law. You understand? What has been done? What is the implementation process? You understand? I'm from Akwa Ibom. I'm from an oil producing a local government from Akwa Ibom. I've seen protests with a PIB bill that just the 3% of host communities. Nothing has been done in that regard. You understand? So there's a lot of issues on ground, and we don't need to play politics with development. There's not time anymore. if we are proud to say we are the largest economy or the biggest economy in Africa, I think we should live right, you understand, by doing things right. You understand? He promised us change during the campaigns. He went around the whole country. You understand? Promised us change, and totally what we are seeing right now is nothing but retrogression of the economy, and that is bad. You understand? We've seen protests everywhere, even from the Nigerian Labour Council. Thank God it's just May. Well, we just experienced the May Day, May 1st. The NLC is still crying out. You understand that what's happening? We've seen protests even from the Nigeria Bars Association. We've seen protests from the northern rulers. You understand? They are crying out deeply. So the president needs to rethink. He needs a management team who will work, you understand, and get things right. Yes, we've also seen reforms, no doubt. Yeah, I think I'll commend him with the reforms in the banking sector. You understand, we've seen the change of the CBN governor. Yeah, we'll also see all that reforms, even with the economic financial crime, a change of the boss. You understand? But that will not bring the change we're looking for. Yes, it might go. It might become a sort of reform for witch hunting, but that's not what Nigerians are looking for. We've suffered 8 years of a Buhari government. Why should we suffer more another 16 years? You understand? Or 4 years, as the case might be. You understand? So let's stop. The politics we are playing with economic growth is totally wrong. Not with a country that has so much capacity, so much untapped resources. I'm telling you, Nigeria can feed Africa. You understand? But the current Nigeria we are having today cannot even feed itself. You understand? We have arable lands that do not have technology on it. You understand? And why will I buy a cup of Gary at that amount? You understand? Right. An African can't feed his family. So let's be factual about this.
All right. I mean, Jalcott, you've given a background of several of these issues. The one really biting really hard on Nigerians has been the issues of fuel subsidy removal. And government had promised Nigerians that there will be other, to reduce the pains on Nigerians. There will be issue of CNG buses for transportation. There will be sharing of grains to many states for, farming. There will be issues of palliative and all of that. Nigerians seem to have hope. The issues of renewed hope you have actually also highlighted. Do you feel that, all of these have been put aside by this government and nothing has been done in this area? And if they do, would there be a reduction in the current hardship really biting up on Nigerians?
Well, I tell you the truth about this is that from what we've seen, I don't think there's any renewed hope. I bet you there's no renewed hope anywhere.
So it's renewed hardship that we are facing.
Even the FX.
Are we facing renewed hardship and not renewed hope?
Thank God you use the word right. You understand? I need to be very objective in my analysis here. The truth about it is that if you have a plan, if you would Nigerians with a plan, a document, you understand, and you came in to power, you understand? We expect you to set up the best team to get these things done. I don't expect the president to be in knowledge of all. No, I don't expect him. He's the boss. He's the president. You understand? But at the same time, I expect him to have a vibrant economic team. Nigeria has gone through a lot in the past 8 years, and let's be factual about it. You understand? So why should you come in? You understand? You are a propagator of change. You understand? You believe in the values and the ideology of APC. I give him respect for that over the years. You understand? Finally, you've gotten power. He may not come. Then what have you been doing? What can you show for? You understand? So the truth about it is, sir, there is nothing, I repeat, there's nothing the president can do to accept him himself can resolve within himself and say, okay, let me do things right and get the best team on the ground. That's the best thing around. That's the best thing that can be done.
Are you saying that the team that we are having is not best enough to drive the renewed hope agenda?
The team, I don't want to start mentioning names and start pointing fingers, but the team that we're having right now have been clouded with the judgment of the president. The president is a strong-willed person. This is how he wants it to be done. You took away subsidy. Let's take for instance, at least you know that the people who drive the subsidy are actually the Northerners. You understand? Let me not say it's based on ethnic bigotry. You understand? Because he's a Muslim, but at the same time, the truth about it is that if If the guys and Northerners are the one controlling the economy in terms of subsidy and stuff like that, and also the FX, the forex stuff, the dollar stuff, the devaluation of and everything, you understand? Now you're hitting hard on it, you understand? Without having a concrete plan. Okay, now what is happening to Dangote Refinery? With what I've heard, yes, we need private sector in. You understand? We need, because the only true way about it that can help Nigeria right now is a vibrant private sector driven economy. You understand? What is the federal government doing in that regards? You understand? What are those lenient policies to make the private sector strive in this regard? These things are not there. It needs to place is stable on this if it truly wants to go in. The last administration, we had a president that was also the minister of petroleum for 8 years, you understand, and nothing to show for. There was no refinery created, not even in Kaduna refinery was created.
I mean, very much issues to touch, but as we end a bit to round up on these issues, what do you feel that, I mean, I understand that you've also complained about the team that he has, is, according to you, is more of a politics consideration than the technocrats that Nigerians were expecting to appoint. But away from this, this was a man who told us that he will hit the ground running from day one. I mean, that was what he promised Nigerians. And I mean, he
will hit the ground running with the one. Yes. Okay, continue, sir. Sorry.
Yeah, he wasn't to come, I mean, have some time. So issues of give me 1 year, all of that. Do you feel that they are pushing blames a lot? I mean, we've also find some of the ministers and all of that coming out to say that the last administration did the worst to this, to this government. Do you feel that it shouldn't be more of excuses and push blame, the process that we must be having right now? Nigerians just want to see the job being done.
The truth about it, sir, Mr. Edikan, we are in a very precarious situation at this moment. We are in a situation where we'll see policies are based on ethnic sentiment. I will say that, and I will say that anywhere I find myself. We're seeing policies driven on ethnic sentiment, not religion, but basically ethnic sentiment. We want to see the Southwest gather everything. We've seen also where they want to take some of the establishment to Lagos. You understand? I want to see, that is exactly what has crumbled the Nigerian economy, and that is the truth about it. And it only takes a rethink, a self-evaluation of the president to say, truly, is he patriotic? You understand? Because if you are patriotic, you understand, you put some certain things into consideration. You think about those who you say voted for you. You understand? Let's assume they voted for you. You think about the common man. I'm telling you, the hardship is much. You're taking your decision based on ethnic sentiment. You took out subsidy within, not even considering the repercussion of it. You understand? I bet you the kidnapping and the cybercrime issue has gone so high because the youth don't have any choice anymore. So I think the only way out right now, because even the technocrat in there, let's say the CBN governor who has even brought in the banking recapitalization and stuff like that, those things are just based around the bush. You understand? The truth about it is that if they can advise him, the president, it's not about these guys. I respect the CBN governor, he's a smart guy. You understand? I respect the EFCC chairman, he's a smart guy too. You understand? I've seen reforms, I've seen decisions they've taken. There's some bold decisions. But the truth about it is that you cannot fight the enemy. You cannot you cannot manage the energy sector with a lean hand. You understand? Look at the Russian-Ukraine war. Look at what is happening in Europe. The whole of Europe is down already because Russia actually is the one providing gas. You understand? Energy is a power base of every economy. You understand? And when you attack the energy sector, you've crumbled the economy. You understand? And it's not about you telling me that they should start buying our crude oil in naira terms. The truth about it is that, are you really refining your crude oil? You understand? Yeah, you could sell crude in naira terms, but would that solve the problem? Is that sustainable? Power is key. Energy is key. Energy is what the banks are using. Energy is what the agriculture sector needs. Energy is what the youths who are doing SMEs to drive growth needs. You understand? And when a country cannot assure you of even 15 hours power supply, it's gone. You understand? You can't do anything. You see, that is the problem we're having. Once a country cannot assure you of at least 15 hours steady power supply, even the barber shop won't give you the haircut you deserve at your low price. The Baba will tell you now, hey, come on, you need to give me 1,000 naira. Where would the common man get 1,000 out of Baba? Why? Because he's buying fuel at that rate and he needs to make profit. That's the same thing that we're experiencing in the construction sector with the Dangote price inflation. You understand? So we need to understand that energy is power. And energy is key to driving a sustainable. Let's talk about foreign direct investment. You understand? Will an investor come into your country? You understand? If you don't have power, you understand? It's taking too long. It's taking too long. We need to fix it, and that is the only way we can drive growth. That's the only way we can now say renew hope. You understand? But if you keep playing politics, you understand, with this, Nigeria has got what it takes. If it means privatizing the refineries, do it fast and drive your economy. It is your economy. You want to fight the dollar and you're not producing. How can you fight the dollar and you're not producing? You should produce. You should be a producing economy. And that is what is happening in China. And that's why the Chinese are feared in America. Yes, and the Americans see them as competitors because they've gone through their education system. They have trained their young people with vocational skills. Yes, and they have power to support the skills. You understand? If you don't have energy, there's no need training entrepreneurship. I see a lot of boot camps, entrepreneur boot camps everywhere. I see a lot of grants and loans everywhere. You understand, for entrepreneurs. But what would the entrepreneurs do if there's no power? I just took an example of the barber. You understand? The barber won't barb your hair. You understand? Lower than the cost of fuel is buying, because first is not assured of power. You understand? If that is happening to the barber shop, then how much at the macroeconomic level? You understand? What is up? How much more the big industry like Innocent? You understand? Who are producing cars? Innocent are one of the most expensive cars today in Nigeria. You understand? Yes, they are quite expensive. You understand? Yes, but it's produced here in Nigeria. Begin to ask yourself questions. You understand? Because a good businessman who want to start selling below his cost price.
Agreed. Agreed. I mean, for Jacot, I agree with you completely. On your submissions, several issues to deal with, and a lot of expectations as we begin to count down for the fact that the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu gets to kick 1 year. I mean, we'll also be looking subsequent on this program. What has the government been able to achieve so far, and all of the sectors and the promises that the renewed hope, campaign brought to Nigerians. Many thanks, Mfon Jacot, who of course is the public policy analyst, who connected with us via Zoom for the purpose of this conversation tonight. Of course, we'll not exhaust this conversation tonight. I mean, we have a long times and a long days to count with the presidency for the 1 year anniversary of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Many thanks for joining us tonight on the program. I deeply appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
And that's a package of big talk here on Global Television tonight. And of course, looking forward to the fact that issues of electricity tariff, now the federal government has said no going back. If they will get a lot of improvement in that sector, give the band A customers the 20 hours they deserve. Give the band B and all of our bands. And of course, to the fact that these are the issues that must be highlighted. And the fact that President Tinubu so far getting to 1 year. What has been put in place is a hardship really hitting back on you. And we just want government that responds to several issues and questions that we have brought to the forefront of this discussion tonight. And that's the package and the wrap on Big Talk on Global Television. My name is Adikan Michael. See you again tomorrow, and God bless Nigeria.